I've lived in West Chicago all my life, which is 48 years. I am their safety coordinator. Been with the Park District about 10 years. It's a part-time facilities job that I do for them. And then when the referendum came up, I was very, excited about it because I think that the referendum to pass this to acquire the facilities is doable, and it's very exciting to see the facilities we could have. Well, when I grew up in West Chicago, the only thing we had to do was the outdoor pool. And that was it. I wasn't really into sports and things like that, but we took advantage of the outdoor pool, and me and my friends, every day in the summer we'd go there, and it was a blast, and times we never forgot. Well, the Park District here doesn't have an indoor facility, so when my sons were growing up, I would take them to other districts, other park districts, other communities, which had indoor gymnastics or indoor facilities and things of that nature, and we wind up traveling outside of our town to go to those things. A lot of my friends, when they want to do something with their children, enroll them in something, they have to go to other facilities in other towns. And sometimes it may be neighboring towns or they may travel. And it's really not fair because we should have something in our community here. This community that we live in here is about 11 years old in this phase, and we met a lot of new friends when we moved in here, and a lot of new kids, and a lot of kids were born, in the subdivision after their parents had moved in here. So it's all brand new to them. Well, there really wasn't much for them to do. And we'd pal around with them, and then they'd have to take off to go to this town, and we'd kind of split up. And then we'd always wind up going to maybe St. Charles or another facility. And we'd wind up meeting there because they had the facility and something everyone could enjoy. So I think it'd be really nice to have something for our town, for our patrons and our citizens to be a part of. Well, yeah, it was odd taking my son somewhere else when I grew up in this town, and I patronized any business in town. It was odd going out of town for something like that. It would give us something that we could be proud of, something that would build and boost the downtown. The facility, when you talk about it, everyone gets excited about it. It has a lot to offer. And I think it's going to give a great value to the city itself, to the citizens, as well as draw more people into our town and hopefully use, other facilities in towns or restaurants, things of that nature. But it's something that we could be proud of. We have an outdoor pool, and it's a very great facility. But when you talk about indoor facilities, we have nothing, and we have to go to somebody else's all the time. Well, I think it's time for us to step up and finally do something for our kids and for the future. Building a community, which is what we're doing, everyone has their opinion on, do we need it or do we not need it? And unfortunately, we need to leave the community a little bit better than how we found it. When I grew up, we had that small pool outside. Now there's a bigger facility. We want to tackle something that's bigger yet, for indoor facilities, something that the kids can go to after school when it's bad weather or when it gets cold out, things of that nature. So I think having maybe a status symbol that we have something that good and be proud of would be something really positive. Well, I like the indoor walking, jogging track. That'd be something nice, especially in the wintertime. There's nothing here. A lot of people would go to the mall to walk. A lot of people would go in, other health clubs. My son is signed up to a health club in another town, and if something like this was built, I know he'd go there. He'd go there, instantly. But the facility offers, a lot of things like the indoor fitness center, which is a very, very positive thing. And with everybody being on the health kick now, which is very important to kids and our future, I think it would be a great asset for them. There's not a lot of places for people to walk, and a lot of places they'll be walking in the streets. And they may be young kids, they may be senior citizens. And when the weather gets bad and they're walking out in the snow, they could fall. That's not good for their health when it's too cold. So I think that every age group would benefit from the facility, not only the indoor track, but all the other amenities that come with it. Well, as a father, the most exciting thing that I feel would happen with the rec center being built is that it would enable the families to do more things together. Especially with my children who are 17 and 24, as you get older, they tend to separate. Well, when they have something that we could all go and use, like an exercise facility or a great room or, an indoor basketball courts, things like that, that brings people together, and it does kind of hold you all in one place and kind of builds you together as a team, as a family team, which is important. Nowadays, it seems like people just go off on their own, and the family meal's not there anymore, and we kind of lose people. But something like that would hold us together. And then I think down the road too, my son's going to be getting married, and I'm sure grandkids are going to be coming out, and I'd sure love to have a spot for them to go, or take them to an indoor facility and maybe walk with them. So I mean, not only do I look at it from my family currently, I look at it from his family in the future. if I felt that you weren't convinced that it was a good thing, I think I'd bring up the point that, one, it is a good time to build because the construction costs are low. And two, if we don't do it now, when are we going to do it? Really. You know, it's an opportune time. We have to do something for these kids. You know, we're skipping, you know, more and more kids each year we wait. And I think not only that, but besides, the poll they did in 2008 indicated that 70% of the voters that were polled want an indoor facility. So, I mean, they're responding to the public's needs on this. And I think it's time to do it. We have to do something for the future, and it can't be put off anymore. I've talked to family and friends about that, and a lot of friends are, you know, pro-referendum. They do want to see it because they have kids, and they're in the same boat I've been in. You know, they have the young kids now, and they're traveling, going to different towns, you know, separating, you know, going this way and that way, husband, wife, taking one kid here for this, one kid here for that, and that against pulling them apart. So a majority of what I talk about, everyone actually who I've talked about has been in favor of it. It would have been nice to have something in town where we could go meet with our friends, a nice big facility, still stay in touch, you know, keep us tight as neighbors, and then afterwards, you know, like we normally do, we go out and have a drink and have some pop or have pizza, some with the kids, and, you know, everyone's involved in it. So I think that something in town would benefit everybody and would, you know, take away from us having to travel all the time. Well, for example, driving back and forth to the gymnastics for one session, 3-month session, averages about 12 hours of time, you know, we spent driving back and forth, which is 12 hours I could be doing something with my family, okay, or anyone else that's going to be doing it will be doing the same boat, be doing the same type of thing, not to mention the gas costs. There's a lot of things you can be doing with that gasoline money you're putting in the tank too. It should have been nice to spend it here in town.